Thank you for joining us for 3Bs on the Law podcast, hosted by Trisha Barita, Camille Canali, and Susan Dawson. Disclaimer, this podcast is for entertainment and informational purposes only, not meant to provide legal advice, and does not create an attorney-client relationship. Also remember, laws change or they differ by jurisdiction, so this is not a substitute for seeking legal counsel in your jurisdiction on the current law applicable to you.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to 3Bs on the Law. On this episode, we are excited to introduce you to Gina Hitchens. Gina is a friend of ours we've known for, or at least for me, I should say, I've known for years, who is a financial planner extraordinaire and works with business owners quite frequently, talking to them about ways that business owners miss, in financial planning. You don't realize how they're unique, right? So, Gina, why don't you tell us a little bit about your financial planning business?
Yes, thank you. I am with GHG Financial Planning, and my whole business model is built on the financial education. As a business owner, I'm uniquely aware of the challenges that we face when it comes to building our businesses and providing for our financial livelihood. And that's just my whole mission, is just to help shore that up. So a lot of it is just financial planning for the small business owner. Yes.
So how is financial planning different for a business owner than, say, an employee or someone who doesn't own and have to plan for a business?
Oh my God, it is totally different. You always hear that I want to be a business owner, I want to own my own business, so I don't have to answer to anybody. I could be my own boss. Well, that's good news, bad news. Nobody likes the 9 to 5, but what comes with the 9 to 5 is typically perhaps a 401k with matching employer benefits. You would typically get regular paycheck. It might look like a bond because you know exactly what you're going to get every 2 weeks. You have health insurance, you have vacation time, you have life insurance, you have the total benefit suite. But as a business owner, you have to do it all. You wear all the hats. And so that makes it totally different. And in most instances, we are so busy growing our business and pouring our time and energy and all of our financial resources into growing our business that quite often, and sadly enough, that oftentimes securing our long-term financial future is put on the back burner. So as a business owner, it's totally different because we have to do it all. We have to do it all.
So what are some of the things that business owners should be thinking about, right? Especially as someone who's switching, who's been an employee and now they're starting a business. What are some of the top considerations they should have when they're talking about financial planning?
Consideration is to make sure their long-term financial future is secure. I talk to a lot of my clients when they're looking to transition out of the workforce, particularly if they're going into consulting or whatever that business model looks like. If they have a 401k at their previous employer, I strongly encourage them to roll it over into an IRA, or there's also other benefit programs for a business owner, particularly if you're a consultant and a solopreneur, that you can look at that would be like a solo 401k. But whatever you do, I strongly encourage you to not tap out your financial security, because again, we often overestimate how much revenue we're going to earn and generate and underestimate our expenses and how long it's going to take. So I've seen far too many business owners take all of their lively savings from their 401k and everything else, pour it into their business and not have that solid structure and foundation in place. So then if the business doesn't do quite as well as they thought it would, the business income is floundering because, let's face it, it's an inconsistent cash flow, particularly when starting up. So if your business revenues aren't steady and you've pretty much tapped out your personal cash flow and you've tapped into your retirement accounts, That is not a lot of financial security in the household. And if you are single, that's a challenge because it's one income and that's a steady, a rocky income. And if you are married, that can still be a challenge because you have a lot of your personal resources that are being reinvested back into the business. So the main thing is to come up with a strategy, a clear strategy about what you want your business to look like, what that model is going to be, and how you're going to provide for your long-term financial security.
So we know that when you're starting
strategy.
I'm so sorry. So we know when you're starting out
Mm-hmm.
that you're highly against taking out your 401k and your retirement savings.
Correct.
But what other types of financial plans or financing should new business owners consider?
I think as a business owner, you need to make sure you get the benefits in place, the life insurance, because that is one area that we tend to neglect in terms of the overall planning strategy. You need life insurance, you need the retirement strategy, you need disability income insurance. So you need to make sure you have all of those areas protected, particularly if you're growing your business and you're taking it to the next level. A lot of times, if you're going out for business loans or just looking at putting in bids on different business opportunities, they're wanting to see that cash flow, and they're wanting to see that if something were to happen to the key person, that the plan can complete itself. So you still need all of those different types of financial planning tools. And the big thing is we often want our businesses to provide for our retirement, but you really have to start with the end in mind. So that's where succession planning is. So what is the purpose for you starting this business? Are you starting it just to create a job for yourself? Are you starting it to create opportunity and employment for your persons in your community, or looking at it for a legacy for your family? But whatever that end goal is, you really need to have a solid structure in place to make sure that you have the financial resources to make it happen. And one of the biggest financial planning tools that business owners overlook is life insurance. Life insurance by far would be one of the greatest succession planning tools, because not only does it provide the dollar, it completes the plan, it is tax-free income. So life insurance is a very key component to a financial plan for business owners. And I would strongly encourage the owner to sit down with a financial planner, because as a business owner, it's a lot of bad news in terms of, we wear all the hats and everything's totally responsible for us. But there are a lot of perks and tax advantages that come along with being a business owner. So that's where the financial planning, you need a team. You need a solid team. You need the financial planner with the insurance expertise. You need CPA, you need accountants, you need legal professionals, you need the whole solid team approach. Because when you start your business or you grow your business, of course, you are laser focused on your business. But in terms of all the other pieces that come along with the business, that's where you need the team approach. So that is one of the biggest areas of advice that I can give, is to look at that total approach and don't go it alone, because we don't know what we don't know.
That's one of the things I like so much about you, Gina. Besides, you're so direct and to the point, right? But that you also have this team perspective, because as an attorney who drafts shareholder agreements and buy sells and all of that quite frequently, a lot of times the financial planners and accountants and other people that come in, everyone's so worried about sounding like they're the smartest person in the room, as opposed to just being part of that team. And what you said is, what is your outcome? Are you trying to create a legacy, or are you trying to build something for retirement? That's the type of thing I ask my clients as well. And I love that you and I are kind of I don't know that I really even knew that, but that we're both on that same page of, what are you looking for? When you're starting out, you're not thinking about retirement, but that's a time when you talk about life insurance. that life insurance can be the most cost effective, as opposed to waiting until you're 65 and you want to retire. Now that insurance bill is higher, right? So when you're talking about insurance, just to be clear, are you talking about whole life as well as term, or are you just talking about term?
Well, I'm just talking about covering the need. Some life insurance experts only swear by whole life insurance. Some only swear by term insurance. I am not a swearing woman, but if I had to, I would swear by the need.
Right.
If you need $2 million worth of insurance protection to cover your business expenses, to cover your home and all the other added liabilities and expenses that you have, if you're looking at $2 million and your budget is $1,000, $1,500 a year, guess what? Only thing you're going to get is term insurance.
Right.
And that's okay as long as you have the need met, as long as the need is covered. But when you're getting into the point of wanting to do higher levels of insurance and estate planning for business owners, some cash value life insurance is beautiful. If you can overfund it, that is like I said, you get pennies on the dollar, but you also get tax-free income from it. Nothing else will give you tax-free income. And right now that's key because the tax rates were probably about the lowest it's going to be in our lifetime. So life insurance has many purposes. When you talk about retirement, it's just if you want your business, so many times if you want to go to family business, you want to go to your children, how are you going to transition out of the business? Where are you going to get the income from to maintain what it is you need to do? So that whole financial planning piece is key, and that team approach, because I could fund the buy-sell agreements, but guess what? You ladies as attorneys, I can't draft the buy-sell agreement. So that's why it's the team approach. You draft it, I fund it, we communicate it to the client, and it's a beautiful situation. I never want to be the smartest one in the room. But when it comes to the money and the financial planning for business owners, guess what? I would like to own that little section of
Right.
my brilliance. But the whole thing, no. I like the team.
Well, our documents have to be on the same page. That I see that quite a bit, where the attorney drafted something, never talked to the financial planner. Financial planner gave them a policy. Like, for example, people who do shareholder agreements, and maybe I drafted it so the corporation owns the insurance policy, and then the corporation buys the shares, but then the financial planner gave them individual policies with a cross buy sell intention, and the client never connected the two team members, right? And it doesn't work then, because the company has an obligation to buy, and the person, the wife of the spouse or the person who died, or the husband of the person who died, just got a whole bunch of life insurance and still gets to look at the company and say, and now you buy me out, right? So I love that team approach. I think I jumped on Camille though.
And have that conversation and the whole planning concept. Everybody's there together, and it cuts down on the miscommunication, and it frees the business owner up to do his or her business. You're focusing on that. And if you have your trusted team of advisors, that is a beautiful situation.
So I'd like to daydream for a moment, ladies, and let's say that we're getting ready to retire in 5 years. I'm a little further off than that, but I can dream. I can still dream. What should you be doing as you're looking towards retirement and that goal is actually approaching? I mean, 5 years sounds like a long time, but it's really not.
5 years can come awfully quick. I like to say, sit down and create the strategy. Again, you wouldn't take a vacation from Alabama to California without a map and a strategy. So it's the same with retirement. You'll be in retirement long. That'd be the longest vacation ever. So create a strategy. So I like to have my clients that do a lot with business owners. I do a lot with women as well, particularly, and women business owners is just absolutely my sweet spot. But with that, if you sit down 5 years out and say, okay, this is what my vision for retirement looks like. What is my purpose? How am I spending my time? That dream cast, what do I want to do? Am I starting a business? Am I selling my business? Am I giving back to my community? What does that look like? So at that point, you create that vision, make it plain, and you look at everything that you're working with, your resources in terms of your 401k, your savings and your investments, all of your financial assets and liabilities, and then the plan, and you can factor it out for inflation and different things and say, okay, based on what you have right now, in 5 years with these hypotheticals, this is what your retirement reality looks like. And you say, okay, I love the way this look. I say, okay, fine, continue along that path. But if you say, oh, I don't really like that, then at least you have some time to make some adjustments and do a little course correction. So again, with anything, my whole philosophy is start with the end game in mind and do a little reverse engineering to get to where you want to be.
I think that's great advice, actually. Great advice.
Yeah. A lot of people, maybe not the 5-year point, but when they're just starting out, no one thinks about how it's going to end. They're just still in that dream phase. So I love that advice. I as always, I just love chatting with you, Gina, and I feel like you and I and Camille could talk for hours and hours and hours. But I think that that message of that team approach and starting at the exit plan, that's just the perfect message to wrap up on our podcast today. So thank you so much for joining us, Gina.
Okay, well, thank you. And one thing I would just love to leave with is retirement is not a time to sit home and rock. Retirement is just when you are ready to refire, reconnect, and re-engage with what sets your soul on fire. And that, my friend, is what retirement is. So thank you.
That is my favorite phrase I have heard all day.
I love that. That's perfect. Well, thanks, Gina, and thanks to our audience. And join us again next time on 3Bs on the Law.
Thank you for joining us on today's podcast of 3Bs on the Law. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our podcast. We also welcome any comments. If you'd like to get in touch with us or suggest a future topic, you can email us at 3BsOnTheLaw@gmail.com. And because we're lawyers, we need to remind you that this podcast is not meant to provide you with legal advice and does not create an attorney-client relationship. Thank you again for joining us, and have a great day.